Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Wednesday night, October the 16th. October the 9th at 7:16. That's what I'm looking at. We're happy to have you guys in for another episode of the Prime Time program. We have much to discuss because, again, the thing about this Titans season, before we even really get off and rolling here, the thing about this Titans season is they have gotten so many breaks in these games as far as the injury luck is concerned. And yet again, they are presented with an opportunity where their opponent is going to be diminished. And they, understanding that they're dealing with a quarterback injury, they have had a pretty clean bill of health thus far. We're going to talk about some huge injury news coming out of the Colts camp and why the Titans are getting yet another huge break from it. But it's incumbent upon them to capitalize. We will also get to rising and falling at the end of the show. Whose stock rose, whose stock fell. We got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm happy to have you guys in for another episode. Before we get started, need you guys to share the program around Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You know the deal. Share the show wherever you are hanging out with us. Corey D. Jackson says it correctly, 100% correctly. It's lining up for the taking. Man, if you don't beat the Indianapolis, and I said this about the Malik Willis game, you blew the Malik Willis game. So I think it's worth saying again, if you can't beat this Colts team, I mean, your season is over if you fall to 1-4 with the kind of strength of schedule that you have ahead of you. This is not an easy schedule as far as the Titans go, and this is a massive divisional game. The NFL gods, as Rashid Jenkins says, are trying to get us to the playoffs. They're trying, but you got to pull your own weight here. That's the thing about this Titans team. At some point, they have to pull their own weight here, and you can't rely on the playoff or on the football gods to try and will you into the in the hunt graphic or potentially a wild card, because the division is going to be won by the Texans, barring something catastrophic happening to C.J. Stroud or otherwise. And of course, you hope that is not indeed the case, because you want everybody to stay as healthy as humanly possible, no matter whether they're on your team or on somebody else's team. But the team that you're playing this weekend is pretty unhealthy at this point in time. They're dropping like flies in Indianapolis, and it's time for the Titans to capitalize. So we'll talk about Richardson and the news on Richardson and Flacco. We'll talk about Michael Pittman, because he is one important player that's going to miss this game, but he is one of several important players who are going to miss this game for this Colts team. Benjamin Buck says maybe they are less hurt because they are not trying anymore. You must have not watched that Jacksonville game, because Joe Flacco did his damnedest to make sure that the Colts would have a fighting chance, despite the Colts having the worst luck or the worst, most embarrassing streak in all of professional football, with the way that they continue to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. We're happy to have you guys in, and we are glad to go ahead and get this show started. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the wonderful people at Zen Sports. Download the app, plug in the promo code ATOZTN. Get up to $100 on your no-danger first wager. Terms and conditions do apply. Trumav Fitness, the first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. Go to TrumavFitness.com to get your fitness goals accomplished. And the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, GaryAshton.com, the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators, who are back in action tomorrow. Home opener, season opener against the Dallas Stars. That's exciting. You can get the best real estate deal out there with the official real estate agent of the Preds, Gary Ashton. And of course, the South's most trusted Ford dealer is Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service is what they offer. Go to tworiversford.com for more details. All right, so opportunities. The Titans have had them writ large. It's Caleb Williams in his NFL debut, his first rookie start, and you have him on the ropes and you give the game away. Okay, missed opportunity number one. Then it's the New York Jets. You have the fumble, you have the turnovers, you have the Jets on the ropes, and you can't get a stop because the offense can't score. The defense has been on the field too long, and 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers does to you what he really hasn't done to anybody but the Patriots all season long, and the Patriots are terrible so far this season. Then you have Malik Willis, a backup quarterback on a really, really good football team. he comes in here and dummies you because you can't get a tackle and you can't get them off the field and you don't have a quarterback that can keep pace with Malik Willis, ironically enough. Then there's the high school offense orchestrated by Tyler Huntley. You finally capitalize because you cannot play a worse offense than what was that Week 4 Miami Dolphins team at the NFL level. I just refuse to believe that any other team would look as futile on offense as Tyler Huntley did in his first starting action since 2022. Now, you have a golden opportunity, a divisional game, the only one that you have played through 6 weeks and the only one that you will play for the next 6 weeks because you don't have another AFC South game again until Week 12. It is being handed to you on a golden platter, and the Titans have to capitalize. So, they're getting a huge break from two major Colts injuries, and I'm going to detail specifically which two we're talking about here in just a second. But the question that I'm going to ask you, your Two Rivers Ford take, is this. Let's start with the quarterback situation. Does Anthony Richardson help or hurt the Colts' chances of winning on Sunday against the Titans? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch is where you get involved. So the latest on Anthony Richardson is this. Based on the reporting out of Indianapolis, Anthony Richardson is expected to start in this game. The status of him is he's still, he's going to be limited in all likelihood on the injury report when the final injury report comes out. Right now, based on how the Titans have listed their players and how the Colts have listed their players, Anthony Richardson is limited with an oblique injury, something that is very painful and something that he has had sufficient time, it seems, to rest. He says, quote, that's what I'm hoping as far as Richardson starting. So hopefully things keep progressing and I'll be able to be out there on Sunday. Went through a workout a few hours before kickoff against the Jags, which apparently they were encouraged by, but not enough to give him the start. They're calling him day to day right now. But the expectation is that he will play. So if AR plays, does he help or hurt the Colts' chances against you? Because the Titans have quarterback questions of their own. The Colts have a more interesting setup right now because of Richardson's draft pedigree, because Richardson is one of the biggest unknowns, if not the biggest unknown in professional football at this point. Benjamin Buck says he hurts the Colts' chances. Corey D. Jackson says, hurts. I don't want any part of old man Flacco. We will get into more of your comments. You'll hear from Brian Callahan on the difference between these two Colts quarterbacks here in just a second, right after I remind you that your Two Rivers Ford take is presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer. That's Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles. Award-winning customer service is what they offer. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more information. It is also Ford Truck Month, and Two Rivers Ford is the best place to get your next new Ford. In fact, they have all manner of great options on offer. They also have the best financing out there at Two Rivers Ford. In fact, I will pull up that offer for you as a matter of fact. Great when it comes to financing. Two Rivers Ford offers 1.9% for 36 months on the 2024 Super Duty XL and XLT. So get in touch with the non-commissioned sales team at Two Rivers Ford today, because Two Rivers Ford is Ford Truck Central. Okay, hurt or help? What does Anthony Richardson do to the Colts' chances to win a football game on Sunday if he indeed plays? B. French says he would rather see Anthony Richardson play. My Colts fan friend, says Stephen King, says they want Flacco to play. Backup quarterbacks kill us, says Dean Buckwalter. Well, the question is, who is the better quarterback right now? And the answer right now on October the 9th in 2024 is Joe Flacco, based on what we've seen. Joe Flacco is, I don't know if he's elite, but he's damn sure able to get the job done. And he looked pretty damn good in the fourth quarter when he was trying to will them to a comeback. But Brian Callahan gave a press conference today. He was asked about the differences between these two players, and this is what the Titans head coach had to say.
I mean, the challenge with Flacco is his veteranness. He is not afraid to throw the ball down the field. They go hunting up for some shots as much as possible. He's certainly capable. I think he's one of the better deep ball throwers in football in general, always has been. So that part you have to manage. He may not be able to move like Richardson can, but he doesn't need to because he knows where to go with the ball. He ends up finding completions. Whereas Richardson, you just see the immense talent. I mean, the throws that he's put on tape are pretty remarkable. His ability to put the ball in his hand is a totally different dynamic as a runner. And you sort of have to treat the two quarterbacks in a different manner with your rush packages and how you rush the quarterback and all those things that go into the different styles. But yeah, there couldn't be like more polar opposite styles you're getting ready for than Joe and Anthony. And they both have, they're all capable of beating you. They have talent. They're just very different styles, and it's a challenge.
So Richardson would hurt the Colts' chances to win this football game. Flacco has definitively been the better quarterback. Now, looking at what they have done in their respective starts, right now Richardson has had 4 starts on the season. Of course, he's missed time with that oblique injury. He was 2-2 in his starts. He's completing just over 50% of his passes. He's completing 50.6. He has 654 yards. He's averaging 8.5 yards per attempt, which is crazy. He's got 3 touchdowns, though, and only 3 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. He and Levis are tied for the league lead in picks this year. Joe Flacco, he doesn't get credit for winning the game that Richardson went down in, and he should, but it's like Mason Rudolph not getting credit for the game that Will Levis went down, and Will Levis got credit for that win. Flacco was 0-1 because his first start came against Jacksonville, and they came up short, though not for anything that Flacco did. Flacco was completing 70% of his passes, 20% higher than Anthony Richardson. He has thrown for nearly as many yards as Anthony Richardson has in just 2 appearances so far this season. 527 passing yards against 654 for Richardson, who has 2 more starts on the year. Flacco is averaging 7.5 yards per attempt, which is almost a full yard per attempt higher than his career average. He's got 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He's not turning the ball over. He's pushing the ball down the field. He's causing problems for your secondary. And the Colts offensive line is good enough to keep him upright, which is a huge part. Hell, you even saw Flacco using his legs against the Jags. Scrappy, or is it Scrappy L or Scrappy I got money? Either way, he says the Colts suck. The Titans will beat the Colts on Sunday in Nashville. Well, here's the thing. Colts have better quarterback play. Colts have better offensive line. Titans have a better defense. Titans defense, to me, I'm not going to say it's suspect. It's solid. It's solid, but it's not as good as its number 1 overall ranking in total defense would indicate. We've talked about this. They don't have Jeff Simmons. Jeff is expecting to play on Sunday, though this UCL injury, he said he completely tore his UCL. I still don't understand how a defensive lineman is going to be able to go out there and play with a popped ligament or a snapped ligament in his elbow. That would seem to be a problem to me, but he said it's not going to require in-season surgery, and he's preparing to play on Sunday. But the Colts have a terrible defense. The Colts are literally the worst defense in football in terms of total yardage. Their secondary, the corner play specifically, is a big reason why. They also don't have DeForest Buckner, which is another huge break that you're getting. DeForest Buckner has been on injured reserve, and this, I believe, is the final game that he would have to miss, provided that he can come back after 4 games. So you've got no Michael Pittman, potentially no Joe Flacco, who would be the more dangerous quarterback to face, no DeForest Buckner, and also Will Fries, their starting guard, was placed on injured reserve today. They are a mess. They are an absolute mess. And this is why the Titans have to capitalize. But specific to the quarterback, of course, you would rather play Anthony Richardson right now. There may be a time where Richardson, it clicks and he turns into, Josh Allen or even better than Josh Allen, because certainly he's more athletically gifted than Josh Allen. And the traits are what attracts you, what makes you draft. Anthony Richardson is the top 5 overall pick. Josh Downs, Corey D. Jackson says, is also out. He hasn't been ruled out yet. There's been nothing official as far as that goes. But here's what the injury report looks like for Indianapolis. Actually, I'll tell you what the injury report looks like for Indianapolis here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by Zen Sports. Download the app. Plug in the promo code ATOZETN. Get up to $100 on your no-danger first wager. football, baseball going on right now, playoff baseball ongoing as we speak at this moment. We have basketball getting ready to come back in our lives. You can bet on all your favorite major sports in the Zen Sports app. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem, call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and in the state of Tennessee to bet at Zen Sports. All right, so let us take a look at the Titans injury report that was produced earlier today. Now, again, this is not the final injury report. This is the first one of the week. There will be two more forthcoming, and they will have more clarity as these players continue to progress and try and work their way through getting ready for another game. I'm having trouble finding the injury report because I'm buried in tweets about Traylon Burks missing today's practice. Many of you were hoping that he was getting ready to get traded. I regret to inform you that he had a child today, so he's not getting traded. He just missed practice for a personal day. There's the injury report. Okay. So Josh Downs, DNP, doesn't mean that he's out, but he's dealing with a toe injury. Michael Pittman will be, it sounds like, be out, dealing with a back. Trey Sermon, backup running back, collarbone injury. Braden Smith, starting tackle, did not practice today with a knee and an ankle injury. Jonathan Taylor, Kenny Moore, Kwity Paye, Anthony Richardson. Ryan Kelly did return to practice. He's missed some games. He is expected to start. Their starting center. This is going to be the bet. There's the injury report. Thank you, Bert. Well done. It took me long enough to find it on my Twitter account, so thank you for doing that for me. Yes, Ryan Kelly. This is going to be the best interior offensive line that the Titans have faced to date. Every other offensive line, basically, that they've faced this year, especially on the interior, is already being talked about getting people fired. They haven't faced quality competition as a defense just yet. This is going to be the best offense that the Titans have faced to date. So, injury report getting longer on the Titans side too. You see a number of guys missing because of rest. Jamal Adams, non-factor until such time as he means something or does something of note for this football team. He missed today with a hip. Traylon Burks missed today's practice because of the birth of his child. Congratulations to Traylon and his wife. Very happy for them. Keandre Coburn missed today. He hasn't been placed on injured reserve yet, but he is expected to miss a couple of weeks with his knee injury. Then you got Hopkins, Jeff, L'Jarius Sneed, all dealing with all having rest days. Will Levis and Ernest Jones, both listed on the injury report with a shoulder and elbow respectively, but they were both full participants today. So that's what the injury looks like for both sides. Now let's take a look at this Colts team, and specific to Michael Pittman. Who is the biggest threat on the Colts roster without Michael Pittman at this point? Because it sounds like he's not only going to miss this game, but he's going to miss a period of some weeks. So the question is, what else do the Colts have to threaten you with right now? We'll take a look at it here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the official real estate agent of the Nashville Predators. That's GaryAshton.com. Don't sell without the intel edge that only Gary and his team can provide. They also get you in your dream address without the stress, the way that they did for me about over 5 years ago. GaryAshton.com for more information. So who's the biggest threat on the Colts offense if Pittman doesn't play, if Josh Downs potentially doesn't play, and both of their running backs are at least not practicing, so they're pretty banged up at this point? Who threatens you if you're the Titans defense? Talking about a variety of different players that they've acquired, but this is a situation where they have it's just roster attrition at this point. The Colts will not have a bye for several more weeks. Titans are the beneficiaries of good health through the first month of the season and also a week 5 bye to try and get their offensive issues corrected and improved. But when you look at if you look at the Colts depth chart right now, and Our Lads is always a great resource for that, you're talking about Michael Pittman Jr., who's expected to miss, Josh Downs, who could miss, though he's not had an official determination on him yet. You look at Alec Pierce or A.D. Mitchell, their second-round draft pick this season, the second-round rookie, as players who could potentially hurt you. Now, A.D. Mitchell is somebody who's not terribly consistent just yet, but he's a great deep threat. That is something that we've seen come to fruition in a couple of different situations for the Colts this year, whether it's Flacco or Richardson. Alec Pierce and Flacco seem to really vibe. I think Richardson throws off a lot of this chemistry. I almost think that Richardson's best threat or Richardson's most viable threat would be A.D. Mitchell in that moment because both of them can play off script. He's a deep threat player. Richardson, of course, can absolutely nuke you with his arm. We'll see what he looks like coming off this oblique injury. But I go back and forth between Alec Pierce is the right answer. He's the more veteran player. He'll be the more consistent player. But he's relying on a quarterback that's not terribly consistent. So I don't know who scares you with this Colts offense right now. Because honestly, when they put this roster together coming into this 2024 season, I really liked the collection of skill players that they went about acquiring. Now, for Alec Pierce, he has 13 receptions on the year, 368 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has not had a touchdown since the first, or he had a touchdown on Sunday. It was his first touchdown since the second week of the season. After that, he hasn't had more. He had 5 catches in the Green Bay game, a game that they would go on to lose 16-10 when Richardson was starting. He had 5 receptions on 7 targets, 56 yards, and a touchdown in that game. But after that, 2 targets, 1 catch, 2 targets, 1 catch, 3 targets, 3 catches, but that was with Flacco. And now we're talking about a situation where Richardson is about to be inserted back into the lineup. So if Flacco plays, I don't know if you lose, but Flacco's the best quarterback on the field if he plays. Richardson, the argument could be had between him and Levis at this point, but there's not a lot that threatens you right now about the Colts, which is why exactly you cannot sleep on them. You have to go out there and kick their ass. You have to put them in the dirt. You have to find a way to claw back in to the AFC South race right now. You're probably not going to win the division. You're very unlikely to win the division with but already having been 3 games back of the Houston Texans. But you can still push for a wild card because the middle of the AFC this year is as weak as I can remember. I don't know how many of these teams are very good right now. I don't know how many of these teams are infallible. The only teams that I know to be good are the Ravens, the Chiefs. I still think the Bengals are a good football team, even though their record says they're not. I know you are what your record says you are, but still, I think the Bengals are one of the best teams in the AFC, and you will not convince me otherwise. And then the Texans. Other than that, it's everybody. The Bills. But the Bills, their wide receiver issues or lack of depth there got exposed. And Josh Allen, clearly playing with a concussion. I'm surprised that the NFL has not done more to investigate that, or at least publicly. Chosen says Bengals are missing Callie. No, they're not. No, they're not at all. Have you seen their offense? Their offense is spectacular. Joe Burrow is excellent. Jamar Chase is excellent. T. Higgins was excellent on Sunday. Their offense has not missed a beat. It's the defense that can't get a stop. And also, Burrow threw one of the worst interceptions I've seen him throw on Sunday. That's not on the play caller. That's on the quarterback. And they had Derrick Henry bottled up for the most part until the end of the game, the 51-yard run, and a missed field goal. They could have won that game, and they missed the field goal. Ravens get the ball back. Derrick breaks a 51-yarder. Ball game, Ravens. So, Burrow, they have not shown. If they are missing Brian Callahan, it's not showing up in the box score. Win-loss, though, however, is a bit different at this point. So, who threatens you on the Colts right now? I'll go with Alec Pierce, but it's not a great argument that I have for Alec Pierce right now, which is exactly why you need to go out there and win this. I almost said a bad word. You need to win this football game. Rising and falling. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell this week in sports? We'll talk about it together. You guys can get involved as well. Let me know who you feel like is trending in the right direction or trending in the wrong. We will discuss at length together right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by Trumav Fitness in the Gulch. Go to TrumavFitness.com. There's no better workout in Middle Tennessee. You won't find a better workout than Trumav Fitness. No workout ever recycled or repeated. They go above and beyond to help you maximize your fitness goals. Trumav prides itself on giving you options to achieve your fitness goals. Personal training, group fitness classes. You can work out on your own with their open gym concept. You can just sign up for one of their very cost-effective memberships at TrumavFitness.com, where your first workout is also free as an A to Z Sports listener. So go check them out. I guarantee that you will love it. Supreme Nick says Buck stock rose with that crispy fade. Yeah, I've got a great barber. He does a great job. Marlon, his studio, no free shout outs, is Noir Blanc. He does an excellent job. His studio is located over there at Vanderbilt, but do not crowd my barber, because if I can't get a time and I have to go back to house calls, I'm going to be very, very upset with you. But yes, he does excellent work. So shout out to Marlon, who is a stud. Stock up Mets. Corey D. Jackson says, stock down Florida residents. Pray, man. It's getting scarier and scarier. In fact, I'm going to turn on the Weather Channel here in the office right now, because this Milton hurricane that spun up to a Cat 5 basically within a span of like 24 hours, to see how this thing continues to get stronger and stronger, and basically getting ready to impact the same path as Hurricane Helene did. Right now, it is listed as a Category 3, winds 120 miles per hour. It is expected to make landfall at Siesta Key right now, and it is currently over Tampa, or it currently has made landfall, and they have extreme wind warnings in St. Petersburg, Tampa, Clearwater, where it looks like the eye of the storm is getting closer and closer to, but it has officially made landfall in Siesta Key. Scary stuff for the Florida residents. So if you have friends, if you have family members, NPF today was talking about his family in Tampa. He is directing people to fundraising organizations for disaster relief, because the best thing that you can do right now is cash if you have it. If you're fortunate enough to have some disposable income, I would invite as many of you as humanly possible to give back if you can, because there are people who are going to lose everything, who already have lost everything in the first hurricane, who are just getting ready to get buried again. It's awful. So yeah, stock down hurricanes. Hurricanes suck. I mean, yeah, we don't have to get into the weather stuff here today, but yeah, just thinking about everybody who is currently displaced as a result. I've got family in Tampa. I know they had to evacuate, so we're hoping that everything goes well for them too. Jets franchise stock down. Yes. Clown show. Property franchise. Woody Johnson trending towards the worst owner in football. Firing Robert Saleh yesterday. I know we didn't have a primetime show to react to it, but I mean, just you could not be a bigger joke than the Jets franchise. The Browns have tried. The Browns may, if Jimmy Haslam continues to make them start Deshaun Watson, they may continue to hold their place as the biggest laughingstock in the NFL. But damned if the Jets aren't trying to make some headway there. I will say stock up Will Levis. Levis having a full go practice today. He's going to give it his best to get out there. I don't trust him as the Titans starting quarterback yet. He's going to have to earn that from me. He's going to earn that from you. He's going to earn that from his teammates and his coaching staff, though they continue to be 100% full bore behind him. But right now, I think things are at least trending in the right direction for him to be available, which you need him to play. You need him to play. I know that Mason Rudolph probably gives you the better chance to win a game, but you need him to play, because you have to find out whether he can do this or not. And this is a big spot for him to try and prove something to you. We'll see if he does it. This was Brian Callahan speaking about Will Levis earlier.
Status or
No, it was more looking at he goes out of the game. We got one quarterback that can play. So just getting a guy in that can at least have some familiarity as an insurance to have a third quarterback in that's a veteran guy. I know I have said before that I prefer a younger one. I would for developmental purposes, but this is a different situation. This is more of a making sure we have someone that could be ready if we need him. So that's sort of where we're at.
do you expect Will?
So that's Brian Callahan speaking earlier today. Will trending in the right direction, at least as far as the start goes. All right, it's going to do it for us tonight. I'm exhausted. I've had a very busy day. All of the different things that we've done today, though, are available for you. You can go check out the radio show. We had Chris Doring. We had Greg Cosell. You can go check out the install. That'll be available to you with Greg. We talked about the Colts and the Titans, where the Titans are right now in their progression as they try and establish an identity. You can also check out everything that's being written at A2ZSports.com. We'll have some more pieces up for you tomorrow morning. And Diana Rossini is going to chime in on, she's been covering the Jets thing very closely. She'll have more information on Titans legend Todd Downing getting play calling duties and all that kind of stuff. We'll also ask her about the trade deadline, because there is a Jets pass rusher that I would be interested in seeing the Titans trade for. We'll have JC Latham on the radio show as well. So JC Latham tomorrow, Diana Rossini tomorrow. It'll be a great time. Join us from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone, and I will see you guys then. Have a a great night.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!